BTG family. You know what it is. The boys is back. AJ2KKC. AJ, how you feeling today, brother?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. How you feeling, man?
Man, it's been a while. I'm feeling all right. It's been a while. The holidays. You have a good Thanksgiving.
Oh, it was great, man. Got to go home. I'm in Minnesota. Got to go back to Wisconsin, the mill, visit the fam, visit the friends.
Yes, sir.
Did a little car shopping. It was
Oh,
fun. It was a good time. It was a good time.
oh. It's about time you about to pull up in the Maserati, ain't you?
I had to pull up in a little something, man. Pull
Some,
up in the
some,
Ferrari.
some.
Nah, I'm
Well,
playing.
well.
I wish I had. I wish I had bread like that, but that ain't the case.
Hey, one day, one
One
day.
day we getting there. We getting there.
Yeah,
But
we
yeah,
getting
Thanksgiving
there.
was cool.
But that's good. That's good. I'm glad you had a good Thanksgiving. I know, even though it was Thanksgiving, even though we weren't recording, it was still a lot going on. And I know because I know you love the game of basketball. I know you love the game of football
Mm-hmm.
that you've been peeping what's been going on in these leagues. So let's get right into it. I'm gonna put you on the spot, BTG fans. We did not discuss who was gonna go first, but AJ doesn't even know he's going first right here. Super Bowl contenders for the NFL. I'm gonna let you start off. Who do you think?
All right, so we got the image up right now. We're gonna start with the NFC right here. And when we mean contenders, we looking at the top five teams. We're gonna talk about the teams in the hunt in a little bit. I'm gonna try to move this. See if I can move this banner out the way for a moment so we can see the whole thing. Okay, so we looking at the Cardinals, the Packers, Washington, the Buccaneers, the Niners, Cowboys, Rams. Out of these teams in the NFC, I honestly feel like the best team in the NFC right now is the Green Bay Packers. If I had to make a judgment call, reason why I say that is they have Aaron Rodgers. They are going to be missing Aaron Jones, but they do have Aaron Rodgers. At least missing him at full 100%. They got Aaron Rodgers. They got Devontae Adams. Their defense is playing lights out football right now. And even though I'm not a Packer fan, I must admit, KC, I like Aaron Rodgers, man. Like the man's a stud, and I don't like how I feel like you be hating on him. Talking about Jordan Love, and Jordan Love is the next thing. You got to get Aaron Rodgers out of there to move on to the next era. But again, we'll talk about that another time. I just feel like the Green Bay Packers are well rounded this year. If they can get defensive stops for Aaron Rodgers to get the ball back, short field, you know, giving him more opportunities to score the football, I think they'll beat a lot of these teams in the NFC, if not all of the teams in the NFC. The one team, though, that does scare you, of course, is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they have Tom Brady, because they are the defending champs. They haven't looked like the same team that they were last year. If we remember last year, they started off a little rocky, but then they got hot towards the end, leading up into the playoffs. That doesn't look like the same team this year. They're playing okay. They'll win here, then they'll lose here to a random team. But you always got to be on the lookout for Tom Brady. And I hate to admit it, but when Dallas is at full strength, I know these last couple of weeks they haven't been at full strength, and I'll talk about them maybe a little later. They haven't had CD, they haven't had Amari Cooper. One had a concussion, the other had COVID. They haven't been at full strength, so they've dropped a couple of games. Dak has looked mad ordinary without those weapons, might I add. But when they're at full strength, they're another team that's to be reckoned with in the NFC because their defense can also create turnovers. They got arguably the defensive player of the year in Diggs or in Parsons, honestly. So they're a team to look out for. But if I had to pick one team to come out right now, I gotta roll with that bad man, KC. I gotta roll with your boy. I gotta roll with your squad, man. The Cardinals are there, but I haven't seen Kyler Murray on the field in a while.
Yeah.
So I'm very reserved on that. I gotta he's been MIA for a minute, and surprisingly, they've been still winning football games.
Well, they had a soft schedule.
They did, but at the end of the day, you missing your starting quarterback.
Okay.
At the
That's
end
true.
of the day, you know what I mean. So, but yeah, I gotta see him back on the field before I say they're ahead of the Packers. But for right now, I gotta go Green Bay.
Okay, AJ, you've come to your senses. I see, and you try to throw this. You try to do this every episode. I just won't let you get away with this. You mentioned something. You said that I hate on Aaron Rodgers because I bring up Jordan Love. Bringing up Jordan Love and saying he's the future, and bringing up Jordan Love saying that he's the next great quarterback for the Green Bay Packers is not taking anything away from Aaron Rodgers. I have from the jump always said that Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of today and Jordan Love is the quarterback of tomorrow. Now, what I have recently said is that when we saw Jordan Love play in Kansas City, clearly he's not ready at this moment. But if you think about it, some quarterbacks are they come in right away ready to start, and some they're on more of like a 3 to 5 year projection. So Jordan Love is probably more on that 3 to 5 year projection. The book is still open for him. So I don't think that me bigging up Jordan Love is hating on Aaron Rodgers because, like you said, Aaron Rodgers is still a bad man.
I mean,
And the,
in my book, if you're talking about getting rid of the man within the next
after
couple of
this
years, while
year,
he's still an MVP candidate.
I said that the
Okay,
Packers, yes or no? Did I say before this season, after this year?
you did.
Okay, so that hasn't changed until I saw Jordan Love play against Kansas City, and then that's when I said he probably needs a little bit more time to develop. I can admit that. So the bottom line is, you're absolutely right. Aaron Rodgers is a bad dude. And speaking of Jordan Love, it's got me thinking maybe Jordan Love can sit another 2 years. I wouldn't be mad. I'm just gonna put it that way. Because if I can get this Aaron for 2 years, I don't know. If I'm the Packers, I think about that because the Green Bay Packers clearly, to me, they look like arguably the best team in the league. Like, I'm just gonna keep it real. Like, when I watch them play, this team has a different feeling. Like, when you look at Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, when they go out there on the field, they're unstoppable. Like, it didn't matter that Jalen Ramsey was on the field last week against the Rams. Like, literally, it didn't matter. And because Aaron Rodgers is so good, it's not just Devontae Adams. Even when they were putting Jalen Ramsey on Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers was finding the matchup everywhere else. And the offensive line, who was missing Elgin Jenkins, who was still missing David Bakhtiari, who will be back along with Elgin Jenkins, and missing their center Josh Myers, held Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and Leonard Floyd to like what? No sacks? That's special. So to be able to throw the ball, protect the quarterback, and then run the ball on the offensive side, AJ, I've been telling you about that man, AJ Dillon. He is a beast. Derrick Henry Jr., and he's only 22 years old. If we want to talk about the future, he is the future at that position. And if you see, don't get me wrong, the Packers still need Aaron Jones to possibly win a Super Bowl. But if you see the way they're able to preserve Aaron Jones by having someone like AJ Dillon who can tote that rock and carry them fools. He had Aaron Donald down the field 5 yards getting drunk. So if the Packers are able to run the ball like this effectively, they're probably gonna. I mean, they have the tiebreaker over what do they call Arizona. They got the tiebreaker now over the Rams. So like, I can definitely see the Packers being the number 1 seed. And as you know, only one team gets the bye. And that's huge because one of the good teams, whether it be the Rams, Tampa Bay, the Cowboys, any one of these other teams, Arizona, somebody's going to go home in the first round of the playoffs. Right. So that's going to change things. I think the Packers right now. And then lastly, and I'll let you respond if you have any other teams, but Green Bay's defense, like I've been saying, has been magnificent. And this is without Zadarius Smith and without their best corner, Jair Alexander. Right. It's time we give Eric Stokes his flowers.
Hey, you called it draft day. You said, I like to pick. You called it. I remember.
It's time we give the young kid his props. That man is special. And what makes him so good, not only does he have closing speed, but he's long. So the bigger he can guard a Mike Evans, he can guard a DK Metcalf, he can guard a Cooper Kupp, some of these bigger receivers, because he has the arms to compete. When Jair Alexander gets back, that 1-2, and then Rasul Douglas, who has been balling.
Yo, that reminds me really quick, because Rasul, where was this at in Philly, my boy? Like, what was it? The man was like the third or fourth corner
It's
on our
coaching.
roster, and he was as inconsistent as they come. I remember vividly going to the game where they played the Vikings, and he had to guard Diggs, and Diggs scorched us for like 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. So again, Rasul, where was this? You
It's a
go to Green
scheme.
Bay, you go to Green Bay, he a whole different dude. Like, yo, I'm hurt. I'm hurt,
But
Casey.
you know what it is? You know what it is? It's the scheme. And it's not even just Russell Douglas, it's that pass rush too. Rashawn Gary, who I was big on coming out of Michigan. This was the number one player in the country coming out of high school. Even though he didn't live up to the hype at Michigan, I was big on him coming out. He's been pretty special too. Rushing the passer, you got Preston Smith, you got Kenny Clark, and Devondre Campbell, the linebacker. Like the Packers, along with Adrian Amos and Darnell, like are stacked on
Yeah,
defense. So I think this team on both sides of the ball is special. And I mean, if you're looking in the NFC, I would not want to go to Green Bay in January right now.
fair, fair. I get that to you. I get that to you, Casey. We have to agree there. We have to agree there. Let's take a look at the AFC.
Mm,
Let's take a look at the AFC. Out of the
mm.
teams you see there in the AFC, which team would you give the best shot to get to the bowl and compete against those Packers?
I have a commitment, or not a commitment. I have to admit something.
Okay.
I have
All
to
right.
admit
Do I
something.
need to take the graphic down for this? Do I need to?
You can take the graphic down for this.
Okay. Okay. We gotta see him for this. Okay.
America, Bill Belichick is back. Let's have that conversation. Bill Belichick is back. Let's have that. We had Psycho Tom last year. He got his off. But Bill Belichick said, I'm not going. And I said this on draft night because originally, when we were talking about the Patriots, they had Cam Newton. We were talking about them getting possibly a receiver. And somehow, some way, the NFL let Mac Jones slide to Bill Belichick at 15. An atrocity. An atrocity, especially when we've seen the likes of Trey Lance, who I like coming out the draft, is not even seeing the field over Jimmy Garoppolo. We've seen Trevor Lawrence, who let's be honest, have been wrong about, struggle in a terrible Jacksonville team. We've
Yeah.
seen Justin Fields, who was banged up because he's running for his life, struggle in Chicago, and Zach Wilson is practically unplayable in New York. Mac Jones has looked incredible in the AFC.
Wait,
And you
so
got
question.
go
Quick
ahead.
question. Don't mean to interrupt, but did you expect him to did you think he was gonna be? I knew he was gonna be nice at some point, but did we expect him to be this cold out the gate?
No. And that's a good point. I thought this was going to be perhaps like maybe 2-3 years down. But what
I
makes
thought
us
maybe 4 or 5. I thought maybe 4 or 5. Like, I wasn't a believer, bro. I thought he could have. I thought he had the potential, but I thought he was one of them quarterbacks that like somebody got to go in before him and show him the way before he get in.
what
He's
but
starting out the gate.
and but you know what it is? It's his ability to play within a system.
Mm,
Like this man played for Nick Saban, who literally coached with Bill Belichick on the same coaching staff in Cleveland. Like they are cut from the exact same cloth. So to go from a system like Alabama, where it's Nick Saban, it's the Alabama way. This is the system that we play in. You do what Nick Saban says. It's Saint Nick. To go
mm,
to Bill Belichick and the Patriots and already having those leadership intangibles, it was a perfect match. Cam Newton, which we don't even got to get into what Carolina got going on right now, was not
yeah.
able to lead the Patriots the way the Patriot way is supposed to be led. And what I mean by that is there's a certain system, right? And there's a certain way the Patriot way goes. And Cam Newton is kind of an outlier. So Bill Belichick finally got his guy. And when I look at Mac Jones play and I look at the way the Patriots have been playing this year on the defensive side of the ball as well, they look like they can be a Super Bowl contender right now. I know everybody is probably going to think it's crazy because Kansas City is still there, Baltimore is still there. But if there is any coach that I would believe in to be able to go to a Kansas City, and you might not even have to go to Kansas City, or to go to a Baltimore, and you might not even have to go to Baltimore and beat a Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes because they're able to stop them on the defensive side of the ball. I think should be at the top of every contention list. I got to go with the Patriots right now to be probably the biggest contender out the AFC.
Ooh.
I'm going with the Patriots. I gotta say it. The if you look at the
And they
matchups
are
right now,
number two right now.
they would smoke the Chargers round one.
Yeah.
Would smoke these boys.
Yeah. So I must admit, Casey, you just admitted something. I have to admit something. Casey, I didn't think about Bill Belichick. And I feel bad because I called him out at the beginning of the season. I said, you got to show me. You got Mac Jones, you got Cam, you got to show me. And they lost their first couple games, and I was like, I kind of expected this. And they've gone on this run, and the main person I've thought about is Mac Jones. I just been like, yo, Mac Jones playing out of his mind. He got the Patriots this, second, and third. For some reason, I didn't think about Brady. And I owe him his flowers while they are due. Because it's not just him. He's got the defense playing well. Obviously, he's got Mac Jones playing in a system that works for him, that has the Patriots out there on like a 5-6 game win streak or something along those lines. Like, their win streak is ridiculous right now. They're beating anybody that they see, and they're dominating. Like, they're smoking the opponents, bro. They're smoking them, bro. So it's just like, yo, like, every week, and I'm not gonna sit up here on the Bridge Gap Airways and make it seem like I watch every Patriots game, because I don't. I have Red Zone, so I see the highlights when they come through, and then if I have to go back and watch film for the show, I'll do that. But every time I see this man on Sundays, it's these boys, Mac Jones going nuts. The Patriots causing a turnover, Mac Jones touchdown, and it's like, yo, they balling right now. So I respect it, but out of respect for that boy Lamar Jackson. Out of respect for my boy Lamar Jackson, KC, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. They the number one seed right now. I gotta show them their respect.
We've seen this movie before.
That's true. That's true. But I'm just saying, they're the number one seed right now. They playing good football. Now, I will say this: Lamar Jackson was awful last week. I mean, it got nowhere. I thought Jalen Hurts had a rough day. Lamar was dangerous just as bad. And in the touchdown, he threw to Mark Andrews that's been all over House of Highlights and all these other highlight places, the NFL pages and stuff. It's him running backwards like 10 yards and then just lobbing it up to Andrews for a touchdown. He also did it for like a deep play, I think, down to the right side of the field. Lamar, you can't do it. I hope, and I know he knows this, but don't do this every week. Don't do this every week. You can't have the F it Andrews out there somewhere mindset, bro. Like that's how you end up with 3-4 picks. You know what I mean? But at the same time, KC, I do understand, because like I've always said, he doesn't have many weapons to throw the football to. But you got to be smarter with the football. You got to be smarter. But overall, outside of that game, Lamar has been playing great. And again, I said this earlier to start the season. I said it on AJ2K Radio, and I'll say it again here before we get too close into the end of the season, or before we get to the end of the season and the playoff starts. I still think Lamar Jackson should win MVP.
All right.
I still think he should win MVP. Now listen. I know what you're going to say. I know the numbers don't support it. I know that. But when I think about MVP, I think about a player's impact on winning said games or winning said football games, a player's impact on this team's level of success. I'm not always thinking about the numbers, because the numbers are not going to support me in this situation. Lamar Jackson has more input over his team winning than any other player in football. He is the passing and the running game. Like he is the offense, like literally. Like Aaron Rodgers can turn around and hand the ball off to somebody. You know what I mean? Like who else? Kyler Murray, when he was healthy, he could turn the ball and hand the ball off to somebody. You know what I mean? They're not literally required to go out and get 100 yards rushing. You get what I'm saying? They're not leading their team in rushing. And then they also have to lead their team in passing. And that's my thing. Like, that's a lot of the offense to carry. You know what I mean? We thought he would have help coming into this offseason. Players got hurt. J.K. Dobbins got hurt. I forget who the backup's name is. And I picked him up in fantasy, but the backup ended up getting Yeah, Gus Edwards, but Gus Edwards ended up getting hurt. So it's like now it's like Lamar, you literally have to carry the run game. Like you literally have to carry the run game. There's no other threat. It's just you. And he still has his team at 8-3. Like I think it's remarkable because that defense ain't nothing to sing home about. It had a great week last week, and it did save Lamar this last week. But outside of last week, that defense is nothing to sing home about. They good for giving up points. They're good for giving up crucial touchdowns. They're good for putting Lamar Jackson in a situation where now you got to come back from down 15 points, 18 points late in the fourth quarter. And that's something that not every quarterback has to deal with. You feel me? So that's why I still have him as my MVP. And when I look at the rest of these teams, like, yeah, there are some teams there. There are definitely some teams there. I understand, you have the Patriots who are hot right now, and they are a team to look out for. Buffalo, even though Buffalo isn't having the hottest season, I always view them as a threat with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. The Titans just aren't there without Derrick Henry. Like, that's just me. They're not really a threat without Derrick Henry because we know what they like to do, and they can't do what they like to do.
They whole offense is missing right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they can't do half of they're a running football team. And they can't run the ball.
Yeah.
Brought in AP, had to cut him. It's not working out there. The Chiefs are always a team to look out for because of Patrick Mahomes, but they haven't looked good this season. You know what I mean? So it's tough. Like I find it hard. The only team I will admit that I would say if they matched it with them boys, I'd be extremely nervous. Is the Patriots? The Patriots? That's the only team where I'm like, oh, the way Mac Jones playing and then Bill game planning for Lamar.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Listen,
but I would
AJ,
out of respect for Lamar, I would still roll with the Ravens. I'm just saying.
I know you would.
I would still pick the Ravens.
Listen,
But
AJ,
that does sound nasty.
I'm gonna keep it real with you, bro. If there's a couple of teams that would smoke the Ravens in the playoffs, like let's just be honest, like right, like
Smoke. Okay.
So you mentioned the Patriots, obviously. Bill Belichick, the defense. Lamar would be more frustrated than he was 2 years ago against Tennessee. Kansas City, they would smoke Lamar Jackson in the playoffs.
Smoke.
They would smoke these boys.
Then
And Kansas City. I think we're gonna get a Kansas right now. I think we're gonna get a Kansas City and not New Orleans, New England Patriots championship game because I look at the matchups. Kansas City's defense has been playing a lot better recently than they were earlier in the season. It's still Patrick Mahomes. They have Clyde Edwards-Helaire back, who was my fantasy back, which, by the way, I did smoke the Philly Snipers this week. Smoked, just like Lamar would get smoked against the Chiefs. I just look
that
at
loss may have knocked me out of playoff contention, but keep going. Keep going. I was hurt, G. I was hurt.
I know you hurt.
Speaking of the Chiefs, we're still on topic. If Tariq Hill played, I would have had it. I feel like I would have had a better shot.
There's the gap.
Out
don't let AJ lie to y'all. Don't let him cap.
I did lose by like.
You lost by like 60, bro.
It was like 60-50. Bro, Cass didn't show up for me, bro. They did not show up.
I was looking at Odell like, ooh.
Bro, he was like the one player who did do a little something, bro. Got me 19 points. I think he might have been my highest scorer, bro. High key. Oh no, it was Joe Mixon.
No, Joe Mixon had like 30 something.
Yeah, it's 30, 20. So he had somewhere around in there. But them was the only two players I did anything from. Everybody else, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, who else? Even if I would have started Herbert, he didn't have much of a great game either. Like, it was just
Hurts put up a stinker. That first half killed you.
We're gonna get into that in a little bit. But go ahead. I took a bad L though, Bridge Got fans. I ain't gonna put the score up, but I took a really bad L. And now I'm 75, and I might not make the playoffs because of KC. But it's all good. I'm gonna get him.
Which by the way, KC is number 2 in our fantasy league right now. I'm just saying I got a chance at the ring. You know what I mean? So yeah. But anyway. Back to Kansas City. I just think that their defense has been playing a lot better. And then one more team that I think that will give them trouble if they see them. And I'm going to go with Buffalo. If Buffalo has to play Baltimore, I think that they can give them problems because they are sound on the defensive end. Now, the running game has to be good. They have to be able to run the football, control the tempo, control the clock. But I think that defense is good enough, or it's good enough. I think Cole Beasley, along with Stephon Diggs and that offense and Josh Allen, they're good enough to be able to beat Baltimore too. So I don't know if I can look at Baltimore as a contender, and it's probably because we just haven't seen it done yet. But until
Fair.
I see Lamar do it, I just have to trust some other teams.
You can any team in the AFC can be beat. Any team.
True,
There's
I'll
not
give
a
you
team
that.
in the AFC where I'm like they can't lose to another team in the AFC. You know what I mean? I'm 10 times more confident in the Packers in the NFC than I am any team in the AFC. The Ravens, whoever they play, is going to be a tight nip and tuck game because they don't believe in blowing teams out for some reason. It's always going to be like that.
No, they
But to
can't.
say, but to say that somebody else will smoke them is crazy talk.
It's not
Anytime you play
crazy.
Baltimore, unless you're apparently the Bengals who smoked them earlier this year, you're gonna have a tough drag out fight. And 9 times out of 10, like he's done probably, I don't know, 6 out of the 8 wins they've had this year, Lamar's probably gonna bring them boys back in the game and win the game. That's just me. Like right now, for me, it's hard to bet against him because I've seen what the man can do. Like a lot of these other quarterbacks right now, and a lot of the way these teams are playing right now. You get some of these teams down 14 points in the fourth. I don't see a lot of them coming back. The only team I will be confident, okay, they probably come back is the Chiefs. The rest of these teams, man, they be quick to fold, bro. Well, and maybe the Patriots. I'll give you that. But
Yeah.
the Bills, the Titans without Derrick Henry, the Chargers, even the Bengals, who was a young team, the boys,
Even look at
they'll
the
fold
teams.
quick.
Honestly, at this point too, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I would rather see the Raiders make the playoffs than. And I know it can't happen, right? Because Tennessee's probably going to win their division, unless they choke it away to the Colts.
Right.
But I would rather see the Raiders in the playoffs over Tennessee. Like I think the Raiders would give some of these teams a better wild card matchup. Like the Titans are going to lose to Buffalo if that's the matchup.
Mm,
The Titans are losing to Buffalo.
yeah, for sure.
So I don't know. I think the Raiders, I think they would be, and honestly, the way the Chargers have looked recently too, I would rather probably see the Raiders too. They're against the Patriots that round one. So I
I
don't
give the
know.
Chargers a little.
They've looked disappointing. And Herbert has been great. It
Yeah.
hasn't even been him.
But that's why
They
you have
just I
that's
don't
why
know
you
what it
have a
is.
little faith in him though, because you think maybe Herbert could pull something out the hat. It's first playoff appearance, right? You know what I mean? You never know. He might be he might be one of them cats that just really go hard in the playoffs, or he could be one of them dudes that just fold. We don't know, but I give him a little bit more respect than that because the Raiders are really up and down too. Like they're looking good right now, but they're so inconsistent. Like,
You see how D Jack looked.
oh, D-Jack. What, bro? The man been healthy seemed like all year, but wasn't healthy at all in Philly. But I get it.
Hey,
I
it,
get
it
it.
must be it's something in the water in Philly then.
It's got to be at this point, right?
Because
It
them
has
boys
to be.
stink.
Oh, speaking of Philly, best teams in the hunt, KC, and I want to start off with this one.
Go ahead.
I want to start off with this one. Now I'm gonna take this down so we can see all the teams in the hunt real quick. Starting with the NFC, we got the Vikings, the Falcons, the Saints, and Philly. Now, KC, and I'm gonna say there's no secret here. I think the Eagles are the best team in the hunt. Out of these teams, I think Philly is the best team in the hunt.
Mm.
The Vikings, I feel like, are a very close second. They have talent, but they're just as inconsistent. And I have a little bit more faith in Philly's run game right now than the Vikings. I also have a lot more faith in their defense right now than Minnesota. And Minnesota just lost Dalvin Cook. So, like, at least for a couple weeks. And they got a tough schedule coming up. Listen, man, when it comes to Philly, bro, KC, what frustrates me, bro,
What frustrates you?
is the Eagles are a better team than how they play, bro. They're a better team. And I know I'm KC, put the Eagles fandom to the side for a moment. Put it to the side for a moment.
Okay.
This team started off the season dropping back Jalen Hurts like he was Peyton Manning. We all knew he wasn't that guy. We all know he wasn't that guy. They lost a bunch of games because of it. Then they started running the ball and playing a brand of football that we all knew from the time Jalen Hurts was drafted. If you start him, this is the brand of football you're going to have to play. read option, handing the ball off to the running back, running the ball as much as possible, play action, hit your receiver over the middle, hit your receiver deep downfield. We all knew this is how they were going to have to play. We all knew Jalen Hurts wasn't going to be the guy to drop back in the pocket and be a Mac Jones, be a Tom Brady, be an Aaron Rodgers, be somebody who was for the most part, a drop back passer. We knew that. For some reason, Nick Sirianni didn't. And you lose a bunch of games in the beginning because of that. But like I said, you running the football now. They go on the win streak. And this game against the Giants, listen. It's the first game all season I felt like we lost, a game where I feel like we shouldn't have lost. Because the Giants are freaking terrible. And I feel like this is the only case really against them. Because if they win last week, they're no longer in the hunt. They're in the playoffs. You feel me? If they beat the Giants in New Jersey, they're in the playoffs. But as soon as they get the chance, KC, and this is where my frustration comes in, because I see the potential. I see how they can play, bro, against better teams. We just beat the Saints. And we know they're better than the Giants. You feel me? So it's just like, don't make that face like you don't know the Saints are better than the Giants. All I'm saying is you have an opportunity to make the playoffs with this one game, or at least be in a playoff picture by beating the Giants. And you go lose to the Giants in just the dumbest ways. Jalen Hurts looked like he turned back into a rookie for a moment. They couldn't find Devontae Smith, even though he was open all game. Jalen Reagor.
Your boy.
Jalen Reagor is the worst. And I mean this with all due respect. With all due respect. He is the worst player I've ever seen drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles. I've never in my whole life of watching Philadelphia seen a player that they drafted play worse and being being a limelight, meaning like being one of, like he was a number one draft pick in the first round. He was our first pick just last year, and this man is dropped. I mean, he had a pass, and we all seen the two drops, but the first drop, the ball's right over the shoulder, perfectly in his hands, and he tries to catch the ball, closing his eyes. Casey, he had his eyes closed trying to catch the football. He had his eyes closed trying to catch the football. And then again, I wish I had the image of him. The last play of the game on 4th and 10, Jalen Hurts did miss Devontae Smith, but it is what it is. Jalen Reagor, literally, the ball is in his hands, and he finds a way to drop it. Defender doesn't hit the ball. The ball not slippery. It ain't raining. It ain't no snow. No, none of that. No. Might be a little chilly, but that's about it. So the ball's probably harder. You know what I mean? But that's about it. I'm trying to give him some kind of excuse as to why or how he could drop the ball in that moment with everything on the line. But he did. It is what it is. You were beyond right about him being a bust. And I prayed that you weren't. I prayed, bro. I prayed that you weren't. Because I'm like, maybe they see something that nobody else sees. But it is apparent that they didn't. We all knew he was going to be boo-boo. And then you see Justin Jefferson, another team, playing for another team in the hunt right now. And the Minnesota Vikings, keep in mind, I live out here. So I see him. You know what I mean? I see his images all over the city. I mean, it's flooded. All I see is this man in purple. And again, I have nothing against Minnesota sports teams. I don't have nothing against the Vikings. Let me just put that out there. I have nothing against them. I root for the Vikings when they're not playing against Philly. It's just right now we at odds a bit because y'all got a player that we should have drafted. And they literally, did you see the video of them literally laughing at us when we draft? They laughed at us, Casey. Did you see the video? They literally laughed at us while they drafted Justin.
Everybody did.
Like, except Philly fans, we didn't laugh. We knew. But overall, as an overall team, when I look at the rest of the teams in the hunt in the NFC, we beat the Saints. We beat the Falcons. The only team that's really like, okay, the Vikings may have a fair shot of being better than Philly is the Vikings. But the Vikings losing Dalvin Cook hurts. I can't put you over Philly without your star back. So I'm rocking with Philadelphia out the NFC.
Yeah, AJ, once again, I'm going to have to disagree with you. I just don't think that Philly is good enough to even be considered. They're in the hunt by record and record alone. And what I mean by that, because there's other teams that are also just as bad record-wise, they're all in the hunt. But let's be real. Like, if you look at, can you pull the graphic up again?
Oh, sure.
Like, if you look at the teams, like Washington, they're not going to be better than them. Are they going to finish more than Washington?
I
Higher
think
than
so.
Washington?
Now they play Washington. They play Washington twice. First off that
Okay.
bye week, they play them. They play the Jets this upcoming week. They got a bye, then they got a
Oh yeah,
Washington
they got
home
that
to
cookie
Philly.
cutter schedule. I forgot.
Yeah, I mean they have the easiest schedule amongst any team too, bro. It's just they have to handle business. That's what it's gonna
Well,
boil down to. They have to handle business.
Well, and that's the thing. They haven't handled business. Like I watch when I watch the Eagles play, and I have in a different fantasy league I'm in, Jalen Hurts is my quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mind-boggling week after week. He's inconsistent. Like, and I just don't think when you look at Minnesota, I think they're a lot more polished right now. I think Kirk Cousins, obviously, he has the experience. I think Jalen Hurts is going to freeze like down the stretch against some of these bad teams, like we saw him freeze last week against New York. And I think Kirk Cousins can win some of those games. I get it. They have a hard schedule. I get it. Dalvin Cook is not there. But if there's any team that is used to playing without Dalvin Cook, let's be real, it's the Minnesota Vikings. We've seen Dalvin Cook hurt year after year, and it's never, knock on wood, season-ending injuries. It's the 2 weeks, it's the 3 weeks, it's the month. I'm out for them, and then I'm back in. It's the in and out. Madison is a serviceable running back to be able to step in and at least hold down the fort. And you still have Adam Thielen. You still have Justin Jefferson. You still have a decent defense. I think that the Vikings are a better overall team. And even though they're close in record wise, if any of those teams were to be deserving of a playoff spot, which I mean, we can say what we can say about that, I think it's the Vikings. And I think they've been the best team of those teams and honestly have the best wins. They beat the Packers, who I think is the Super Bowl contending team, and they had a lot of other good game or close games against Cowboys. So I think that they are the best team in the hunt right now.
The Vikings. Wait, did you say they had a win over the Cowboys? They lost to the Cowboys.
No, I said close games. I said they beat the Packers.
Oh, I had a close game with the Cowboys backup quarterback. That's
Hey,
the thing about the Vikings. The Vikings, as much talent as they have, they are just as inconsistent as us. That's why they're in the hunt with us. That's the problem. They're literally, they will come out and they'll beat the Green Bay Packers. This week, I guarantee you they'll struggle with the Lions. I guarantee it. I get on Bridge. I guarantee you in Detroit they will struggle. They probably win. They probably win, but I bet it be like 20-17.
The Lions are dumpster fire.
They are, but again, the Vikings are just as inconsistent as any team you want to mention. You do know when they played earlier this season, it was a tight game, right? They had to win off a game-winning field goal, and that was in Minnesota.
BTG fans, the Lions are getting smoked. I would bet my life on it.
By
That they lose by
how
10
much?
more than 10, double digits.
I'm not. I after watching the Vikings as long as I have, there's no way I'm betting anything that high of value on the Vikings, bro. They have to they have to find a new head coach. And Kirk Cousins, even though he has been playing solid this year, I still don't trust him in the biggest moments. Now, that's not to say that he's not to be trusted over a guy like Jalen Hurts, but this is what I would say about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is consistent. Jalen Hurts is actually consistent. You know what's inconsistent? The coaching and the game plan. When you go into the game, no, literally. No, I'm gonna break it down. When you go into a game and you have Jalen Hurts throwing the ball on 3rd and 2 and 4th and 2, it's not gonna go well. When you have Jalen Hurts drop back 40 to 30 times, it's not gonna go. We know he's not that guy. So if you require him to be that guy, he's gonna fail. We know it at this point in his career. If you require him to throw the ball 30 to 40 times, we know we're going to lose that game because he's not going to be able to step up to that plate.
AJ, if
that's
he can't.
Now, hold on, wait. That's consistent. Now, what's also consistent is when we run the football and we limit his attempts, we are a much better football team. That is proven. When we hand the ball off and run the ball, either with him or with our running backs, more than we throw the ball, we are a pretty solid team. Again, we were one game away from being that 7th seed in the NFC right now today as we speak. And so my thing is, we had a bad game against the Giants because they did exactly what we know he's consistent at in a bad way. We made him drop back and throw the ball on 3rd and 2 and on 4th and 2. We put him in a situation to throw 3 interceptions. I think he can be a better quarterback down the line or a better passer down the line in his career. I think he's a decent passer right now, but he can't throw the ball 30 times a game. That's that. The formula to the Eagles win is very similar or is very simple. They could play some of the hottest teams in the NFL. When they run the ball, they're the best running team in football. Statistically, these last couple weeks, they've been the best running team in the entire league. They ran the ball for 200 plus yards on the best run defense in the league, bro, in the New Orleans Saints. They are dominant on the run. But if they don't run the football, they ain't got no shot. and that's what makes me so upset, because I know the potential. I know we could run the ball on. If we can run the ball on the best run defense in football, there's no reason why we going into any game not running the ball as much as we possibly can. But if we don't run the ball, then that's why Sirianni is. I don't know what goes on up there some games. I really don't.
Well, this, I can't let you get off the hook with that, because this is the same AJ that was like Jalen Hurts is the next great quarterback, and now you telling him he should be handing the football off.
Yeah. Wait. I didn't say how he was the great quarterback. I didn't say Jalen Hurts, what he was doing by running the football wasn't effective. When he's running the football, he ran for 3 touchdowns on the Saints. That's great. You know how I feel about Lamar Jackson. I don't mind a running quarterback.
Jalen Hurts isn't Lamar Jackson.
He plays similar.
Yeah,
in order for him to be successful, they started running him like he was Lamar Jackson, and it's worked very well.
Jalen Hurts isn't as quick, fast, or I don't even think he's as accurate as Lamar Jackson. If we
I don't know about the accuracy point, but all I'm saying is from this standpoint, you talking like Lamar Jackson is a super accurate passer. The man,
I'm not, but he's more accurate than Jalen Hurts.
I ain't gonna get into that because I got a lot of love for Lamar too. So I'm not. You're not gonna bait me into that, KC. You're not gonna bait me. You already got me going against the Vikings, and this is probably a bad look right now. But I just have to keep it 100. I just feel like if push came to shove and the Eagles play their brand of football, the brand of football that has helped them be successful over the past couple of weeks, I think they beat every team in the hunt.
Okay.
That's and that could be fandom, but like watching them week in and week out, I know what I see. They are extremely effective when coach decides to run the football. I just don't know for the life of me why he doesn't run the ball sometimes. Like, I don't know. But
you can have it. I'll give it to you. I personally, all the teams in the hunt honestly are trash. I don't think that I don't think that either of them are gonna make it over some of those teams at the bottom of the conference. I just think that Washington's better than them, San Fran. So I mean, they're all playing for nothing at the end of the day. But the Vikings do have the most collection of talent. Are the best team.
If Philly gets in, watch out, Green Bay. All right, we're gonna move on to the AFC.
Yeah, let's talk about the AFC. I'll start off in the AFC. I'll start off in the AFC. That's there's 2 teams that I think are 1 and 2 here. I'm gonna go with the first team in the Indianapolis Colts. Your boy Carson Wentz has been wincing up and down the last few weeks and has looked pretty decent. Now we know they just lost a tough game to Tampa, but let's be real. No one thought they were about to beat the Buccaneers.
Had us on our heels though. Had Tampa on their heels though.
They did have Tampa on their heels. That defense has looked better. Carson Wentz has been okay. I bet you if you feel it, you wish you had a couple of Carson Wentz right now behind center, because he's been decent. We don't. Well, that's unfortunate, because I think that's unfortunate because Carson Wentz has a real opportunity to possibly sneak into the playoffs, especially with Tennessee struggling and on the ropes. They might be able to catch them in that division.
I want to ask you a quick question before you go a little deeper in, and I'll make it quick. If the Eagles make the playoffs and the Colts don't, does that change your opinion?
The Eagles are making the playoffs.
But I'm saying if it happens, does that change your opinion on
Carson Wentz?
On Carson Wentz being an Eagle? Like, I bet we wish that he was in Philly. Would that change your opinion on that? Would you think that we'd wish that?
Uh, no.
Oh my gosh. Okay, keep
Because
continue.
because the AFC is stacked. The AFC is good this year. Like I don't know. The AFC is tough. Outside of like Tennessee, they obviously are banged up. But if Tennessee was healthy, I mean, they're not winning the division. Like, let's just be real. I think a healthy Tennessee is probably arguably the best team in the AFC.
I
But
mean,
we
but they
know
not,
that's
but they not healthy though.
exactly.
So
So I mean, the rest of the AFC is still stacked. I just can't give them that. I think that Philly, if they were to get in, they're already in a pretty. I mean, the Cowboys have been good, but I think that the rest of the NFC has been okay. Like the NFC is top heavy, so I think they could possibly sneak in, like Washington, because they could slide. So I don't think it'll change my opinion. Now, if Carson Wentz has the opportunity to clinch a playoff berth, or if he chokes it away, well, then yeah, then
okay,
that'll change my opinion. But
fair.
I think if they're still winning games and they just can't catch up, like I won't hold that against Carson Wentz because I know he was banged up too beginning of the year, so I
He
won't hold that
always
against
banged up, but
him. Well, right, that's wins. But but when I look
wait, is
at the
that the team that
AFC,
you picked?
what'd you say?
Is that the team that you picked, or no? You just was
So
talking about the
I
Colts.
like the Colts and I
Okay,
also like the Raiders. Like I
okay.
mentioned, honestly, I think the Raiders, if they were to get into the playoffs, depending on what the matchup is, they can give somebody some work. I think they would give New England. I think they would give them a run for their money. I'm not saying they'll beat them, but that'll be a tough out. Whether it's Tennessee or Indianapolis, they're in one of those spots. I think they will give them a run for the money. The only team I think even the Chiefs, I mean, that's a divisional game. They're used to seeing them. They always play them tight for the most part. Outside of the last time they got smoked, I think round three would be a little bit different. So I think between the Raiders and the Colts, it's probably 1A, 1B right now in the hunt for them for the
Yeah,
AFC.
for me, I'd have to agree with you. Um, it's definitely between those two teams. Jonathan Taylor is playing out of his mind.
He is.
Carson Wentz is the wins. Carson Wentz is doing his thing. He's doing his thing, but it's mainly Jonathan Taylor on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, that young kid is making Carson's job easy. Throw that boy a screen pass and he taking it 70 yards. You hand the ball off and he probably take it 80 yards. You know what I mean? Like he putting up easy points for you and making your job easy, opening up passing lanes for you to throw the football to. The play action is wide open because of him. You know what I mean? So it's definitely helping him out. Don't want to take away from Carson and what he's doing. But Jonathan Taylor is that dude. And the Raiders, like, if I had to pick between the two, I'd pick the Raiders.
Mm-mm.
And it's because of Derek Carr. The more I like Derek Carr, or the more I watch Derek Carr, the more I like Derek Carr. He's a gunslinger, bro.
He
Like
is.
he'll throw it all over the field. He might get the ball away every now and then, but he gonna throw it all over the field, and he's pretty accurate for the most part. A lot of these games that they lose is because they in some kind of shootout. The defense isn't stepping up to the plate. I'm not saying he doesn't have bad moments. The man leading the league in passing yards right now. He doing his thing. He doing his thing, and it's like I'm shocked that they haven't won more games that than they um than they have. It's been a lot of stuff going on with them off the field, though. You know what I mean? With Ruggs, and then you had the situation with Gruden. So maybe that is contributing to a couple L's, a couple of those L's that they took during that time period. Um, but I think they're out of the teams in the hunt without all of that stuff included. Once they're able to buckle down and solely focus on football, solely focus on trying to make the playoffs, I definitely think they're the best team. Like I said, Indianapolis, they can get some stops. Carson can make some throws, and Jonathan Taylor is a dog. But I just I've seen too much of Carson not be available when you need him to.
AJ,
I've seen too much of it. I've seen too much, man. Like right when you need that boy to be available, something go wrong. Something go wrong, and it's like I hate to say it, and I don't want to say that over that man. I don't want to wish nothing on him, but it just seemed like every time we depended on Carson to be there, he was hurt.
mm,
Every time we depend, I mean, he got us in the playoffs. He went on this big playoff run, got us in the playoffs, and had us in the first round against the Seahawks in Philadelphia. And he got hurt, second play of the game, bro. He got hurt second play of the game. You know what I mean? After having an injury history with Philadelphia leading up to that point. Right when we thought it was over, it was done. Carson Wentz is healthy for a whole season, and he got us in the playoffs with a home game against the Seahawks. So we can maybe make a little noise here. Second play of the game, I'm out.
Wins.
I can't pick you over Derek Carr, my boy. I
I
can't.
feel you on that. AJ, can you throw the AFC graphic up real quick? Because I got a weird proposition for you, and it has nothing to do with the hunt. But
Okay.
tell me what the name of the team in the bottom right is.
Bengals.
No, I'm sorry, in the hunt.
Oh, in the hunt, the Steelers.
2022, the Steelers under center, Russell Wilson.
Oh, I like that.
I'm putting that in the air. I'm not saying anybody has said anything. Ben Roethlisberger is cooked. It's time to hang
Oh,
it up.
I remember I said it, bro.
My
I
G,
said it's time for him to hang it
my
up.
G.
It's
It's
time.
time to
It's
hang it up.
over. I said that at the start of the season. It's over with. It's over
It's
with.
it's it's cooked. I think they need to and Seattle and I knew something was up when they fired the offensive coordinator. I said it before the season last year, and they had all these changes, and it was still the point. It's time to move on. And honestly, and I'm gonna throw this in the air too. There's been a lot of movement in college football. I would not be surprised if Pete Carroll also left Seattle. Now, once again, I'm just throwing this stuff in the air. I think Seattle, I think it might be time to dismantle it. And if I'm Russell Wilson, Pittsburgh looks like a desirable. He can play in cold weather. You already got the piece. You got Najee Harris, who was a beast. You have a defense. You have a TJ Watt. You have a Minka Fitzpatrick. You have a Deontay Johnson. You have a Claypool. You'll get a Juju back. All I'm saying, that's a desirable location if I'm Russell Wilson.
They do got to do something about that defense, though. But I get
They
your
do.
point on Russ. I get your point on Russ for sure, because that will be a solid. That will be a solid fit. Hey, real quick before we move on, if I was Pete Carroll, I would dip out too. Man,
I
I'm
would do
not gonna
that.
play now unless I have faith in a quarterback coming out of the draft, and I'm sure that'll be a topic for another day. But unless I have mad faith in them, like I could trade up and get that quarterback, and I could still be competitive. And this quarterback is gonna be that guy. I dip too because I'm not gonna compete without Russell Wilson.
Nope.
And when you was dominant, you had Russ, you had LOB, you had Marshawn Lynch. LOB gone, Marshawn Lynch gone. The only thing remaining Russell Wilson. If you ain't got him, I'm gone too. I can't blame you. I can't
I'm
blame him.
gone. I'm gone. But I
Yeah.
see a world where that happens. So I'm just throwing that in the air. I know we're gonna move on, but I'm putting that in the air. Steelers, y'all might as well just tank at this point. Start building. It's time to
I
build
hear you.
around Russell Wilson.
I definitely hear you
But
on
what's
that.
that? We got what's
We got
basketball?
basketball. We run, man. We went on them football topics for a minute, so we running
Woo.
short on time. So let's
Let's talk
rip through
about this,
these
man.
and give our quick thoughts on this. First off, KC, I have to say something about this first because I'm pretty sure I'm the one who said Steph was going to win MVP this year.
You did.
I'm pretty sure I did come out at the start of the season and say Steph Curry is going to win MVP this year. This boy is special. And like I said before, KC, listen, what the man is doing on the night in and night out basis. Now I know he had a rough game against Phoenix, and we'll talk about them in a hot second. But outside of that game, the man gonna give you 30, 40 in a heartbeat. The man gonna shoot 10 threes and make 8 of them in a heartbeat. The man gonna the man is playing out of his mind. The chemistry he has with Draymond is insane at this point in their careers. You could tell they've been playing together for a long time. And then you have the addition of Jordan Poole, the boy out of Wisconsin, playing great basketball. Andrew Wiggins played in Minnesota, didn't look that great. Now was playing for Golden State, looking like a dog on both sides of the basketball. That boy Gary Payton Jr. My goodness. The
That
boy
boy
can
got hops.
jump. The boy can jump. The boy got defense. You combine that with the leadership of Andre Iguodala and the leadership of Steve Kerr, who's now a champion as a player and as a head coach, very accomplished at this point. I mean, that team is just crazy, but it starts and it ends with Steph Curry. Nobody thought this team would be this cold this year. Nobody. We knew they'd be nice, but we said when Clay get back. When Clay get back, they gonna run. Without Clay, they looking like arguably, obviously they just lost to Phoenix, but they before that game, this looking like the best team in basketball, bro. So if the Warriors keep winning at this rate, I don't care what Clay does when he gets back. Unanimous MVP Steph should be back. The way he's playing, the way he's the way he's playing, the way he's balling, unanimous Steph should be back. For sure.
So,
For sure.
well, AJ, I got a confession to make. Steph Curry is a top 3 point guard we've ever seen.
Oh, facts. Facts. Wait. Can I take this a bit further?
I don't know how disrespectful are you gonna get.
KC. Steph, give me one more ring with Clay, with him as the main focal point of the offense again. Steph, the greatest point guard of all time.
That's tough, cause that's tough. I don't know if I can go that far, cause Magic Johnson still played, and he's got the rings. He also has the finals MVP. Like I don't know. Now, if Steph gets an MVP this year, a ring this year, and a finals MVP this year,
It's gonna be tough.
it's gonna be tough. The thing about Steph Curry and also just watching great players as they get older, the game becomes so easy to them.
Yeah.
So when you look at Steph Curry, the fact that he was already arguably like the greatest shooter of all time before this, it's almost it's criminal to watch on a nightly basis. Like it shouldn't be legal. The fact that he could shoot the ball that well, like that, they should outlaw the three just because of him. Like that's how good he shoots the ball. I think he had a stretch where he had 9 threes back to back, 9 threes like
Yeah.
in a game.
Yeah.
Like that's 20. That's what 27 points off threes alone.
Yeah.
He's got your average on threes alone. Like
Right.
that is ridiculous. I think Steph Curry is playing at the top of his game right now. This is the best he's ever looked. And you mentioned it. We did think when Clay got back they would be the best, but I'm gonna tell you what. When Clay Thompson gets back, you're also missing one other person. James Wiseman. We remember that D'Angelo Russell trade. Remember when they got that the second pick in the draft because of that, and they went and got James Wiseman, the number 2, the big man out of Memphis. Yeah, he's coming back too. So you're looking at a starting lineup of probably James Wiseman or Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, either Jordan Poole or Andrew Wiggins, Draymond and James Wiseman. That's disgusting. That like that's
I have
disgusting.
to see personally. I have to see a little bit more of how they play with James Wiseman. I believe in James Wiseman. I don't know if I believe in his fit with this team. I have to see it because what I saw in his rookie season, they looked clunky with him on the floor, and they got better with him off.
But
They
Clay
started
wasn't on
playing
the
a lot
floor.
better. I know, but I'm just saying in general. When I saw him in his rookie year, they looked okay, but they didn't look as good as they looked towards the end of the season when he wasn't on the floor. So maybe maybe that's just them going through them early chemistry issues, or him just going through the rookie, the rookie stuff that you go through as a rookie, learning the game and learning where you need to be on the floor and that kind of thing. But I I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying that the edition isn't going to be great, but I'm saying I also have to see it. I would not be shocked if it wasn't great because I have not seen that look that good just yet. So that's why I'm kind of holding back. But either way, they're not gonna need it. They're not gonna need it because they're playing great basketball on both sides of the ball. Steph Curry is playing out of his mind. And to think about it, to say this is the best Steph we've ever seen.
I agree.
Unanimous Steph Curry was OC.
Mm-hmm.
Unanimous Steph Curry in 2016 was legendary, bro.
But
To
at
top
this,
that, and to top that, no, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just adding to your point. To top that with what he did last year, leading the league in scoring, and now what he's doing this year, like their record is about the same as it was when they were. I think when they went 73-9, their record at this point was like 20-0 or something like that, or like 20-1
yep.
or something like that. Right now they're like 18-2. I think they got like two or three losses on the season. I think it's like two. Like that's just the
It's
boy is
ridiculous.
gifted. The
He's
boy is
gifted.
gifted.
And last thing I'll say on this is like when you look at Steph, the game is so calm. He looks so calm playing it. Like
Yeah, it's
he
easy
step
now.
on the court, he pointing to people in the crowd before the ball. Like I've shot a lot of 3-point shots in my life, and I have never in my life
Had that confidence.
had the confidence to be able to shoot the ball, look this man sitting next to you in the eye and say that's good and walk back without even looking at it go in. That's incredible. And he's doing it at the highest level. If you haven't given Steph Curry your flowers, please, please, this dude is on another level. And I agree with you. I mean, right now he's MVP. He's
Gotta
MVP
be.
right now.
Gotta be. The boy is special. Last but not least, KC. This right here.
Mm,
This right here.
let's talk about it.
The Phoenix Suns, man. I'm not the greatest fan. I'm not
We
gonna
know.
lie. I don't like the Suns, but it's mainly me being a hater. I'm not gonna lie. It's mainly because they beat the Lakers last year in the postseason, so I'm hating. But I must admit, these boys, man, I didn't know how they would bounce back after losing to the Bucks this season or in the finals last year. A lot of teams they struggle, especially a lot of young teams that get there early. You struggle after you get bounced in playoffs like that, or after you get bounced in the finals like that. You get all the way that far. Chris Paul is aging, Book is coming up. You got a young ascending team, and you drop the ball completely. Go up 2-0, drop the ball against the Bucks, and you come back hungrier than ever this year. That's not something I feel like you see often. So I gotta give them their respects. Them boys, I just talked about Golden State, and like I said earlier, they did just beat Golden State the other night. And Steph had a bad thing. He only had like 13 points. He struggled because that length on the defensive side of the ball between Bridges, between Aiden, even between Book here and there was stifling. And I'm like, yo, this team still like that. And it makes me mad, KC.
Mm.
It makes me mad because I didn't want them to be. I didn't want them to be. But what I will say is it will make it that much better if the Lakers find a way to get their act together and they actually played Phoenix again and they beat them in the postseason. That would be great. It would be like, yeah, got y'all boys back at the top of y'all game just to show y'all that y'all really not that team. We that team. Speaking of the Lakers, real quick, I know we talking about the Suns. I don't know if you heard KC, but right before we went on air, LeBron did get out of COVID protocol, so he will be available for the Clippers game.
I
If
did see that. He will be, and he gonna light the Clippers up. He mad
don't
again.
like
You
the
saw
Clippers
that?
up,
You saw the
he mad.
tweet? Something fishy's going on. He about to
Right.
get a
He
he
knew.
about to get a Clippers that work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But we don't want to focus on the Lakers. We talk about Phoenix. How you feel about Phoenix, AC?
I'm not surprised. I mean, Phoenix looked good last year. Obviously, that's why they were at the top of the conference. I mean, essentially, what we're seeing is them just put it together. I mean, I've been high on Devin Booker literally since he came into the league, or shortly after, I should say. And then you look at DeAndre Ayton. That's also another important piece. They also have a campaign who's been good. And then Chris Paul. Like Chris Paul has done this everywhere he's gone. He's taken a Pelicans team, a New Orleans Pelicans team, far. He's taken a Clippers team and coined that Lob City. He's been to conference champion or conference finals with James Harden and the Rockets. He had OKC in the playoffs, which was a rebuilding team, literally a rebuilding team.
Mm-hmm.
Took them to the playoffs. And now you pair him with somebody like Devin Booker, and he's kind of able to give the reins to Devin Booker, give the reins to campaign, teach them the ropes, teach them how to be a professional, how to be a professional NBA player. And you're seeing it put together. Now, the question has always been, can you do this when it matters most? And Chris Paul made it to the finals last year, but he still lost. And a lot of people picked the Suns to win the finals last year, and he folded. So I think that question is still out. So I don't know how much stock to put into this winning streak, but I'm not surprised. they've looked good. I mean, the last 2 years, and like I said, they were at the top of the conference last year. So I think this is just more of the same, right? This team was hot last year. They get another year to learn the system. But kudos to Monty Williams and James Jones for putting this team together, coaching this team. Like it's not easy to win that many games in any professional league. So the fact that they're able to do it on a night in, night out basis and beat the Warriors, I know it was in Phoenix, but we just mentioned Steph didn't play well.
And I forgot to add this in there. D Book went out at halftime.
D Book went out at halftime.
So it's like he didn't play. The best player on
and
the
Chris
Suns
Paul
didn't play
stepped
half
up.
the game, and Chris Paul stepped up and they won the game. So it's like that's ugly.
That's ugly. So I think that this team right now, if I had to just say, if the season ended today because they beat the Warriors, I have to say this is the best team. But the winning streak, I don't know. I don't know how much stock to put in it right now. Only because one, it is still the beginning of the season, but I do have to give them credit. Winning 18 games. I think they're going for the 18 game tomorrow. That's a lot. So I definitely have to give them credit for that.
I refuse to give him that much credit. I refuse. Warriors, run that back. If the season ended today, Steph, run that back. He ain't gonna have 2 bad games in a row. Nah. I refuse to give him that respect.
Unless it's the finals.
Oh, hey, that's so
Woo!
that's so disrespectful.
Talk
But
about
hey,
it. No,
like I said, if that boy find a way to win a chip this year, finals or you said finals
yeah,
VP with a chip
that's tough.
and regular season MVP.
It's tough.
Oh, and I did want to comment on this. I know we were still talking about Phoenix, but I did want to quickly say this. I don't want to take away from Magic Johnson, but I've always felt like Magic played with a guy in Kareem who was the all-time leading scorer. Like this is who LeBron is trying to catch in scoring. Really think about that. This is who LeBron trying to catch in scoring. And we say Bron's the GOAT. Jordan wasn't able to catch this, man. Kobe wasn't able to like the coldest scorers in the game could not catch Kareem. And Bron looked like he might limp his way there. You know what I mean? So to play with a guy like that who put up buckets like that, you're gonna win some rings, bro. You're gonna win some championships. And that's not to say that they win them without Magic. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Even though he did win one with Oscar Kareem, that is. All I'm saying is I feel like it's tough to lose with Kareem. That's me. I feel like it's hard to lose with Kareem. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, Steph did play with Clay, Draymond, and KD, but
But Kareem though, it's still not Kareem, bro. It's still not
but
the dominant
Steph,
presence that
Draymond, and
Kareem is.
KD were on the same team.
That's fair, and they won, right? And I get all that, but he didn't win every championship with the same team. He also won without KD as well, and he won with Clay and Draymond. So I mean, all I'm saying is, I'm not saying the Warriors weren't a great team. Every team that wins a championship is a great team. You need pieces to win. But all I'm saying is, Kareem is one hell of a piece. That's one hell of a piece to win 5 chips with, bro. That's all I'm saying, bro. The man 7 foot, the man dominating the paint, and he just dominant, bro. Like everybody says, Shaq is the most dominant big of all time, and I get that from like a girth and muscle, and like I get from that standpoint. But like when we talking about just straight bucket getting, he's number 1, bro. He's
Yeah, he
number
had the
1.
most unstoppable shot in all of basketball history.
So
I'll give you that.
it's tough, bro.
But
It's tough.
Magic ran the
It's
show.
some people that
Magic
say
made it showtime.
it's facts, but it's some people that say that Kareem is the GOAT. It's some people that legit think that. So you gotta like put that into account when you talk about Magic sometimes, bro. That's all.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying, bro.
that's fair. Like I
That's all
said,
I'm saying.
listen, it's Steph. I think right now is the top 3 point guard of all time. You know
Who's
what I
second?
mean? You
Who's number
look
2? You
at
think you got IT at 2? Isaiah Thomas at 2?
yeah, probably. I
Okay.
think I'll go Magic, IT, Steph
Okay.
right now.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I can't put nobody above those 3. That's fair. That's definitely
and then
fair.
Chris Paul. No, I'm just playing.
Hey, Chris Paul, keep it up though. If he win a championship with these Suns, he might squeeze in my top 4.
4. Nah. Top 5. Top 5.
I didn't
Maybe
want to
top
say.
5.
I was struggling to say 5. I didn't know if I wanted to fully say that, but yeah, I'll say it. If he wins the championship with these Phoenix Suns at this age too, and is playing how he's playing this season in the finals this time, I'll give him top 5. I think that's fair.
Okay.
But KC, you got anything else to add to today's show, my boy?
Man, no, BTG. I know we've been gone. It's the holiday season, but we got some new stuff coming for y'all. Don't even trip.
We got fire coming, just like
We
every
got
episode. We
fired.
always got fire coming. We are coming with them live episodes too, as well.
Yes.
So y'all stay tuned for that. We want to throw that out there. We are coming with those. But for now, for today, we are gonna sign off. AJ2K, KC, we out. We catch y'all on the next episode of BTG. Bridge the gap.